Coulter is conservative, provocative, and argumentative, and yet somehow I still like her. What is wrong with me? Her latest book, Demonic, How the Liberal Mob is Endangering America, is in stores now. I'm happy to welcome back to my show the always entertaining Ann Coulter. Welcome to the show, Ann.
Thank you. So good to be here.
I asked you this last time. Do you consider me part of the liberal mob?
No, because you're funny.
What's that got to do with it?
And that's how I signed your book.
Yeah.
I want to put you in a cage, in a zoo someplace, the last living funny liberal.
Well, maybe it'll amuse you to know that I was on a list as one of the most annoying liberals in America. I was number, I think, 16 or something.
I have been on so many of those lists. Take it as a compliment. I'm not liberal.
I do. I take it as like when being on Nixon's enemies list. I enjoy that sort of thing.
There was no enemies list.
Nixon.
That was an invention by, it was a list John Dean wrote down. Nixon never asked for it, never saw it.
Okay, here's where I have to pull rank on you, because I was actually alive during that time, and I know there was a list.
I read a lot.
I know, but I read too, and I was there, and there was a list, Ann.
Right, but it was John Dean's list. It wasn't Nixon.
Well, they did it together.
No, it was Nixon. He'd walk around the Oval Office denouncing various journalists. And John Dean puts this list together, and now every liberal in America claims he was on Nixon's enemies list. It didn't exist.
Don't tell me that you liked Nixon. I know we don't go into that.
No, he was too liberal for me.
Let's go in. Oh, my God. Let's talk about...
I liked Watergate. I think we should spy on the Democrats.
That's what got him practically, that's why I had to resign.
I was saying the one thing I liked.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about what's going on right now, because I just read a poll in the Washington Post. It was a CBS New York Times poll, and they said that 72% of Americans want higher taxes for very rich people in this country. Now, if most Americans want us to tax the rich and make it fair, which is the most American thing that we have, is fairness, why is the Republican Party holding up the country with this whole fiasco in Washington right now?
Well, for one thing, I also want to tax the rich, particularly Warren Buffett, Bill Gates' father. I think there should be an open your yap tax, where if you are a billionaire and start calling for middle-class taxes to be raised, we should just take all your money. That's it. Just take it all. But yet and still, and I'm still in favor of that, that will not solve our problems. You could take 100% of the money, forget income tax, forget a wealth tax, 100% of the money of the richest 1%, and that would cover, about 1% of our budget. Corporate jet tax isn't going to do it. And by the way, the stuff the Republicans are dying to cut, NPR, arts funding, foreign aid, that's all. You put it all together, it's 1% of the budget. It's Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, which already consume about, and plus interest on the national debt, that already consumes 50% of the budget. According to Tim Geithner, Obama's own Treasury Secretary, within 10 years, those three things, entitlements and servicing the debt, will consume 92 cents of every dollar of the federal budget. So you have to deal with Medicare, Social Security, and well,
they are trying
Medicaid.
To do that.
No, they really aren't.
Okay, but
nobody wants to, because the American people keep saying, "Oh, don't touch my Social Security."
Nobody wants to. When you hit 65, you're not going to want them to cut it either.
When they enacted Social Security, the average lifespan was 65.
Well, maybe they have to tweak it.
Maybe
they have to tweak it. But there are people right now who rely on it, and people who rely on Medicare.
Sure, but I think it would be easier to just have one welfare outfit in Washington, whether it's food stamps, whether your child is born with some dread disease, whether you're old, whether you didn't save, whether it's bad luck or stupidity, and not have do you know how many federal programs there are?
How many what?
Federal programs there are just to feed the poor. There are like 18 programs spending, 62 million a year.
So you're not against
one program.
You're not against the safety net. You're just against the confusion in the safety net.
And the waste and the government workers and the endless programs. You'd have to have a major fraud unit, but just instead of having all these different government bureaucrats, because I think that's the Democrats' true constituency, government workers, not the poor.
No, that's not true.
Yes,
okay,
true.
Okay, it's not.
Excellent point, Ann.
No, you're the only one who thinks so. Now, today, House Speaker Boehner, he told...
It's not Boehner.
Okay, sorry, John Boehner. He told the GOP, quote, this is today, get your ass in line. Okay, trouble in paradise with the Tea Party.
Not really. I mean, they have one half of one branch of government, and they're doing pretty well, and they're at least coming forward and making compromises. But the president won't accept any cuts in spending, and there have to be cuts in spending. The longer we put this off...
They've already given them the store. The progressives are up in arms. Bernie Sanders almost had went into cardiac arrest today because he's so angry with Obama for all the concessions he's made already. What are you talking about?
To quote the great Rahm Emanuel, the Democratic base are effing retards. Obama has given nothing. He won't cut anything. He just keeps saying we're going to tax corporate jets, and that'll take care of everything.
All right,
they're lying to Americans. You have to,
I'm giving me a headache.
Not really a ratings grab.
Don't you think it's all headache-ville to talk about money in this country?
It's important, but I think we're driving the viewers away. So let's get to Representative.
That's possible. We'll get to him in a second. But look, what about Michele Bachmann? First of all, today came out that she spent $5,000 on hair and makeup or something.
Come on, you spend that in a month.
I'm not running for anything, except for my life after I interview you. But, I mean, her husband has a Christian counseling clinic that says you can pray the gay away. Do you think he protesteth too much?
No, actually, there was an op-ed in the New York Times this weekend that I agreed with. I think this is... Liberals are playing on the same sort of gay stereotypes they normally reject, and they get angry at, and they should get angry at. There are straight men who are mildly effeminate. There are plenty of gays who are not effeminate at all. Oh, well, they have 4 biological kids.
But do you believe you can pray the gay away? Come on.
Well, again, the New York Times had an article a month ago in the magazine section about a guy who used to run this big gay magazine in San Francisco, and then he found God, and he's not gay anymore. And the most important part of that story...
He says that.
The most important part of the story, well, the New York Times was annoyed, but they didn't deny it. Most important part of the story, which so I'm glad you asked, was that he's a huge Ann Coulter fan.
Who this closet case you're describing?
Probably from his gay days.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, it's impossible to pray the gay away, so why don't they just pack it in?
No, there are some people who aren't, maybe they weren't really gay to begin with, maybe they were molested as children. There are people who go that way. There are, I mean, for liberals who think that every sort of polymorphous perversity is normal, but you can't imagine that you could go from being gay to straight. It happens, it does happen.
No, but you can't pray the straight away. Nobody goes from straight to gay. People say straight when they're straight. Why do gay people think they have to be straight?
Well, that would be weird, praying the straight away, but you can pray lots of stuff away.
Well, I mean, what about the gay marriage in New York? You're happy about it, right?
The only reason I might be happy is maybe they will shut up about it. Okay, the media capital of the world has gay marriage. Can we move on now? Okay. I not only want Don't Ask, Don't Tell for the military, I want Don't Ask, Don't Tell for all of society. Just give me a week where we're not talking about the gays.
What do you mean you want Don't Ask, Don't Tell for the military? You want to go back to that system? That was corrupt.
Yeah, the Clinton system.
Why? That didn't help anybody. Why do people who are...
I was moving on to get Don't Ask, Don't Tell for all of society.
I know, but it sounded as though you wanted it in the military. Do you still want
Not only that, I not only don't want open gays in the military, I don't want open girls in the military. That's the issue I told the conservative.
Do you want open heteros in the military? Why doesn't everybody stay in the closet?
Heterosexual men. The same sort of men who can be firemen.
That's what you want.
Look, this isn't a normal life they have. Bless them. They're sleeping, you know, in foxholes together. They're in trucks. They're bathing.
So what?
So I don't think this is going to help military preparedness. It's sad among liberals.
It works in so many countries. It works beautifully in Israel.
So many countries are relying on our military to protect them. No. We're just lucky Germany doesn't start arming again.
Don't bring that up. More with Ann Coulter on the way. Don't bring Germany into this. I'll go wild.
You don't send your children to public schools, you send them to private schools. So I was wondering why you think it's fair to be cutting school funding to public schools.
What's her name? What's her name, guys? Real quick, because the governor's talking. What is it? Gail. Talk to Gail.
Hey, Gail, you know what? First off, it's none of your business. I don't ask you where you send your kids to school. Don't bother me about where I send mine.
I'm back with Ann Coulter. What is he, off carbs today or something? Because he's touchy.
And right before his debates with Obama, we're taking his donuts away. We're going to send them in just like that.
Turning like that.
I love that
on a caller. Why do you like him so much?
Because look at that just now. You know, most of these Republicans, bless them, but, you know, they're very rare, the elected Republicans who can put 2 sentences together. And you watch your guy giving a speech and your stomach. Remember, Bush, I love him, but he couldn't talk.
No
we
kidding.
need a president who can talk.
My
And with
stand-up act
Christie-
was great those years, boy. I just had to read quotes from him, and it would kill. Go ahead.
And it's amazing we won with a man who could not talk. Shows how popular our ideas are. Anyway, with Christie, you just sit back and, you know, get out the popcorn.
I thought it was the Republican machine that got him in. And the Supreme...
Yeah, the machine.
How about the Supreme Court and the Florida Chad hanging situation?
All
you
nine
you forgot that?
justices
You forgot
agreed
that.
to the system of counting that made Bush president.
Well, they should be fired, all of them. This whole idea, until death do they part, is baloney. And that's an error from Thomas Jefferson, in my opinion.
No, the error is when they start going... I mean, it should be a very boring job. We shouldn't be reading about Supreme Court decisions. They shouldn't be dictating social policy. If they did what their jobs were, we wouldn't even notice them.
That would be better. But, I mean, the thing about him is that he slashed, Christie, $820 million in state aid to schools last year, and he sends his kids to private schools. Hypocrite or no?
No, not at all. In fact, I write about, I mean, not anticipating this, but I write about this in my smash bestseller, Demonic. No, it's hypocritical for Democrats who don't want to give poor families the choice. My party supports school choice and vouchers and supporting parochial schools.
No, but that's not right.
Because you get a voucher from the government, you go to whatever school you want. All these rich liberals, Obama, Gore, Clinton, Chris Matthews. Oh, no, we must support the teachers' unions and force all poor school kids into these crappy public schools where all they learn about is women and gays' contributions to the American Revolution, but not history, reading, arithmetic. And they send their own kids to these lily white private
public school system? I mean, I was a teacher of the public school system. Fix the system. Don't have vouchers at other schools where people have to be separated from the system. That's not right.
Fix it for 50 years now. It keeps getting worse. You know, you fix it. You gotta put a little competition in.
All right, always a pleasure to see you.
Is that it?
Yes, that's it.
We didn't even get to Representative Wu.
We'll have you back.
I want to see that man in the tiger outfit.
The book is called Demonic. How the liberal mob is endangering America.